Good morning, good morning, good morning. As I was sitting down waiting for my ride to come pick me up from the gym, I was thinking of a lot of things that I was talking about God to. And a lot of times we criticize or find fault in some of the things that we have. Like when you want to be married, you have a husband or you have a wife, or you want children and you get your children. But then what do we do with the gifts that God give us? Sometimes we find ourselves just complaining about the negative things, but what about the positive things that are going on? Are we prepared for what we're asking for? Let's ask that question to ourselves. Are we truly prepared for what we're asking for? And then, with what we're asking for, are we willing to put in the work? Having children, you have to be able to nurture them, to teach them, to be able to guide them. A lot of times we tend to give them what we didn't have, which could also handicap them because then we end up giving them too much. So what is your take on parenting? What is your take on marriage, relationship? A lot of things is supposed to be taught from home. One of the main things I find myself doing is comparing my husband to my father. And that's not good because when we get married, we do kind of find someone in the areas of how our parents were. A lot of men, they look for women like their mothers who can cook like their mothers or their grandmothers if they've raised them. And we have this, a lot of men, they look for women like their mothers who can cook like their mothers or their grandmothers if they've raised them. And we have this expectation. But is the expectation correct? And my father, he was Jamaican. He was a migrant, came from Jamaica to America, met my mom, had kids. He worked hard. He worked 40 years in the railroad. He retired, took care of all five of us with my mom. And the things he taught me, I look for in my husband who never had a father. Of course, he had to have one to get here, but he never saw what a man looks like. And me, my father was in the home. And what I'm saying this to say that is a lot of times we compare how life was when we grew up with our adult life on our own. And that does not work. I find myself sometimes like, okay, my dad did this, my dad did that. Like if there's a noise in the house, my dad made sure he jumped up, make sure he secured the house, made sure that everything was okay for his family, his children. Whereas just make sure he secured the house, made sure that everything was okay for his family, his children. Whereas just but the husband to jump up and do what my father did, but he doesn't have a clue at times. And I think our biggest mistakes in life sometimes is we try to mimic what we've seen or mimic what we've grown up to, and we can't. My husband's from up north, Brooklyn. I'm from Florida. So in Florida, of course, you know it's hot. My father taught me and my siblings and my other sister, my twin brother, how to cut a yard. Up here, my husband didn't have a yard, so he has no clue about lawn work. My father taught us how to make a garden, how to paint, how to change a tire, how to look at your oil. I used to get under the hood with my father as a little girl. And to me, that was just love. My time with my dad, but he was teaching us. And like say, for instance, with my husband, well, if you have never seen what a two-parent household look like, or you've never seen how a husband or a dad does things and teach you things, then you have to learn on your own. So I'm just sitting here as I'm, heading home, just thinking about all the times we as adults try to compare our spouses to what we think they should know or think they should be. And if they've never seen it, it's impossible. And then it's going to make them feel inferior and make us feel like they're not mounting up to any good, when we have to be that light to them, be that patient person to them. Even with wives, there's a lot of women that didn't have a mother growing up. They don't know what it's like to be a wife. I remember growing up, and my mom would always, and my dad would say, you're going to be a wife one day. You need to learn how to cook. You need to learn how to clean. Parents don't do that anymore. So a lot of times these women or young ladies are growing up and they don't have any skills at home. And this is something that we have to change, I believe. for our future children, future generations, so they will be able to cope, to make decisions, to know how to do stuff. Check your oil, how to check your tire pressure, how to jump your car. It should be universal, not just men, not just women. And even with cooking, like all my brothers know how to get down in the kitchen. My dad, my mom taught us all. It was no gender, like chores other than garbage. They didn't want the women taking out the garbage, but if you have to in your days of being single, have a good one. Or your days,
you as well.
Yes, ma'am. Or your days of, whatever, teaching your kids. We have to be able to let them know this is how you do this. This is how you do that. Teach them how to pray. Teach them how to get in the Word. Teach ladies, young girls from a toddler. Like I saw this lady on TikTok, and she had her 2 daughters, showed them how to sit down with a dress, how not to sit down with a dress. Do we teach our young teenagers this anymore? I see our young teens, and of course times have changed, life is changing, but I really don't like what I see. Yeah, we have it where you have certain things that you wear, the cute outfits, you're young, whatever, but where is the respect level? How are we teaching our children about their future and how to conduct themselves? If they don't learn at home, they're going to learn in the streets. And then when they learn in the streets, it's not going to be a positive outcome for them, because there's nothing that's going to be, I don't even know the word I want to say, to take them where they're going. I believe we need to learn how to teach our young men how to be young men, so when they grow up, they can be husbands, future husbands, or entrepreneurs. We have to have our fathers in the house with these young boys. A lot of these men now are just growing up, and they don't have a clue about manhood because they've never seen it. A lot of young ladies, because their parents are still out there doing what they do, or reliving their lives, or doing the BBLs and whatever, we got to teach our daughters how to have dignity, respect for their bodies. So many young kids are having sex so early. Like, why? I remember growing up and you play outside, or whatever is in your era. But we need to teach our children, first of all, the parents. It start with the parents. And a lot of times parents are trying, but if we keep God first, if we teach them how to get in the Word, if we teach them how to pray, if we teach them, and a lot of times children will go astray. I understand that, just like the prodigal son. But once you instill in them what you want them to know, how life is, they will come back to it eventually. But these young girls, it's ridiculous what they're doing in school, how they're conducting themselves out in the future. In the community. But I believe if we as women stand up in our homes, teach our young girls how to conduct themselves as a young lady, how to clean their bodies, how to put on deodorant, even how to keep their private area clean, how not to have sex, how not to allow anyone to touch them. How to dress. There's a proper way to dress. If you want to hang out on the weekends or outside, there's a different way of dressing. I remember growing up, we had school clothes, play clothes, and church clothes. We need to get back to those basics. Life has changed so much because we got away from how we were raised. I'm a 70s baby. So we got away from, people have gotten away from how we were raised with our parents. And that was the best way, teaching them respect, people, to teach them how to say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, how not to talk back to an adult. There's so many things I've seen on TikTok where these teenagers are fighting someone's mother, kicking someone's mother. Like, how dare you? Where has the respect gone? And Pastor Victor, we have to go back to the basics of Jesus Christ in the home. It starts in the home. The fathers need to stay clear of leaving and having multiple families. And if you can, stay in your one home, have your children, teach your young men how to be men, how to do things that be productive in their future. Teach them how to pray. Your children are going to grow up, so what are they going to take with them? Everything starts at home. The respect starts at home. The rules start at home. The discipline starts at home. I'm not saying discipline as in like harshness, but even God says we have to be chastised. Like, where has things changed so much that the mothers and fathers can't handle their children? Where is it changed so much that even the men are growing up and they find wives, but they don't know how to be a husband? So when you get a wife that has been raised in a home with two parents that taught them how to do both gender roles, then he feel intimidated. Some men don't know how to change a tire. I know how to change a tire. Teach your men how to be husbands, how to be men of God, how to be fathers as a child. Like when they're growing up, you need to give them those characteristics so when they get older, they know what to do. You may not know everything, but they need skills. Those young ladies need skills. How do you not know how to cook? How do you not know how to decorate your home? How do you not know how to be a lady? How do you not know how to conduct yourself in a positive way? So I don't know. While I was just sitting here, I'm just doing a lot of thinking, and a lot of times I have to learn this still with my husband. He feels like I'm complaining, but I'm trying to, I want to say teach him some things, but a man don't really like a woman teaching him anything. They really don't like you telling them anything, but I'm just giving it to God. And I'm just thinking about all the other women and people on here and things they say, and it makes valid sense. But we have to stop comparing our spouses to our parents, because that's not who they are. And just compare them. Just accept them as they are, in the place they are, and hope that they want to change, hope they want to grow, hope that they want to expand their minds, expand their horizon, pick up new things. Like, there is nothing wrong with learning and listening to your wife or your husband if they're trying to show you something you've never done before. Like I told my husband when I met him, in order to get what you've never had, you got to do what you've never done. If you've never exercised, if you want to get back to a certain size, you got to put in the work. If I was in college, so by him seeing me in college, he went back to college. Now he has his bachelor's. I just graduated my master's, but I have a double master's. But I don't know what's going on with this second one. I'm in business administration because of financing, whatever. But you have to be a light somewhere along the line. Anytime you get in a relationship, you need to evolve. Anytime you leave home, you need to evolve. Everything that your parents taught you, they're not going to always be here. So you need to have your children understand the ethics, life, how to buy a house, what to do, stop renting. My father used to always tell us, stop renting and purchase. The ethics, life, how to buy a house, what to do, stop renting. My father used to always tell us, stop renting and purchase. And that's something I'm working on with my husband now. But I'm just saying, like, I would love to see the next generation understand politics, understand government, understand, the ways of life, how to conduct themselves, how to even sit back and evaluate your environment, how to know how to conduct yourself in an environment of people. Like, there's times when I had to help someone, like, okay, in certain atmospheres, when you're in the presence of CEOs, these big companies, I forgot the 500, I can't think of it. I have a brain injury and I can't think that hard sometimes. But when you're in front of these CEOs, they're watching you. You can't be like, oh, what's up, how you doing, what's up? No, these CEOs, they're watching you. You can't be like, oh, what's up, how you doing, what's up? No, you have to have professionalism. You have to be able to conduct yourself in a professional way, because you never know who's watching you. You never know who may want to admire you. But out here cursing and twerking and doing all the things, but on Sunday I'm the first lady. Like, no, I've been an example to other women. Yes, my husband is a pastor, but you don't see me out here doing things outside of God's will. And that doesn't matter about who I'm married to, because positions don't matter to God. He looks at our heart. So our heart has a line with what we follow. If you follow God, your heart will align in that way. Yes, we're going to make mistakes. Yes, we're going to have issues. Yes, you're going to go through life. Yes, you're going to lose your temper, but are you going to repent? Are you going to get in your word? Are you going to be a light to those in darkness? Another thing, like years ago, I would have been upset that the ride picked me up an hour and a half late. But today I was like, okay, I'll just sit outside and enjoy the breeze. Just think, just talk to God. Even complain to God. I do. God, I want this. Why is this like that? God. Keep going. I'm at the next sidewalk. But instead of complaining all the time, because I hear my husband, he tells me all the time, Stop complaining. I'm not complaining. I just bring things to the attention. But then I also, right here, also listen to what he says, because if someone thinks that you're complaining all the time, even though you're trying to bring light to a situation, then that's the time that we have to be gentle with them, and or him, them, children, or whatever, and come to a different way. Say, God, you know what? This is an issue, or this isn't working. Can you take the wheel? Can you show me? Like, you don't want to always look like someone is just always scolding, or always, what's the word? Correcting. That's how I was raised. So for me, that's normal for me. My father was always correcting us. Yep. Always making sure that we were in alignment with how they raised us. So that's what's in me. But for my husband, he's not used to that. Some children aren't used to that, even at schools when they're with their teachers. It's a different, have a great day. It's a different atmosphere with your children and their teachers or the principals, because they're going to talk to them the way they talk to you. They're going to address them the way that they address you. So what I'm saying is we got to change the trajectory of how we do things sometimes. In order for our children to know how to be respectful, they have to be respected. Our children to know how to be respectful, they have to be respected. And then they have to see it in the home. We got to stop cursing and fussing and smoking weed and whatever drugs or all this new stuff they're taught. I don't even know what's out there. I just see it on TikTok or whatever. But we got to be the light to our children. They don't need to see us, half dressed in front of them, our young boys and our young girls. They don't need to see us, cursing, doing drugs, but then we want them to walk a straight line. You can't say, do as I say, not as I do, because as you do is what they're going to do. They're going to mimic. So, I don't know. I just want to get on here and talk and have a conversation, or just, see where you all stand with that. Life is a learning lesson, and we have to be able to grow daily, learn daily. Sorry, I hate bees, and for some reason, I've been attracting them all weekend. I got to stop wearing my Yonsei Saint Laurent. I love my L. My YSV perfume my husband bought me. But they sure do attract bees. But anyway, I just want to say that today. Talk about that few ideas and things that I was thinking of. Because people's feelings matter. People's thoughts matter, whether they're wrong or right. People's emotions are all over the place.